Hey everybody, thanks for coming to 2024 MIT Mystery Hunt. First of all, thank you all so much for all of the wonderful feedback you gave us over the course of the weekend. I really hope you guys had a lot of fun, and I know Hunt went a little long, but I really wanted to thank you for the teams that stuck with it. All right, I also wanted to give one special thank you to the person who does all of the logistics, because you all see me, wandering around like, oh, I know things about puzzles. But turns out Mystery Hunt would not be possible without somebody running all of the logistics. So I wanted to call out from A to Zany. I think he's taking care of some logistics even as we speak. Right, just to give you an idea of how big the logistics job for Mystery Hunt is, the shopping list for one event was 2 pages long. And not only did he just do, the buying stuff, he made sure we stayed on top of our schedule, he did fundraising for us. Basically, everything that is not a puzzle was done by John Brummels. Thank you. We're going to go through a brief overview of what happened in Mystery Hunt. Right. We're going to talk briefly about our design philosophy. So it turns out that even though most of you here are probably from the competitive teams, there are thousands of non-competitive solvers who never make it very far in normal mystery hunts. So we really wanted to prioritize a very easy opening that is accessible to most solvers. And this meant our mid-hunt runaround was completed by a lot more smaller teams, and we also had this parallel fish round with much easier puzzles releasing over the course of the hunt. I know we got a bunch of questions saying like, hey, why isn't the Hera round unlocking normally? It's because we wanted to slowly trickle out the puzzles for those smaller teams. So we wanted to prioritize an experience where everyone and every solving team has fun and there's something for them. Something for their skill, something their accessibility, which Sarah will talk about later, and for their interests. So many of you know that Mystery Hunt is a product first, but we are a really large team. We had tons of enthusiastic authors. We had enough puzzles ideas for 3 whole Mystery Hunts. Obviously, not all of those puzzle ideas turned into real puzzles, but we had so many puzzle ideas that we ran out of channels in our Discord server like 5 times. And additionally, many of our team members were really excited about acting, as I'm sure you all saw over the course of the many, many HQ visits over the course of the weekend. I hope you all enjoyed them. Can you give them a round of applause for all their hard work? And finally, and most importantly, Mystery Hunt is a hobby. It needs to be fun, not just for you, but also for its constructors. It is a product first, so it needs to be fun for you first. But at the end of the day, Mystery Hunt is just a hobby, so we tried very hard to keep it lighthearted. So I want to talk briefly about the story. Sarah will give the much more detailed version of the story later, but the gist is the meeting of interplanetary theorists demoted Pluto to unimportant space debris, shattered Hades, angered the gods. They did 3 very easy rounds in the underworld, visiting Cerberus, Charon, and the judges. They escaped. They did the mid-hunt runaround, found a way to restore the shades of Hades, by driving around the US. Finally, they got a capstone, they used the shards, used the shades, and then final run around, they put, after restoring Pluto, they convinced the scientists to reverse their votes and undemote Pluto to bring it back to its dwarf planet status, despite the best efforts of Mike Brown. Here is we had over 250 in-character team interactions. We had a really big acting team. They were up on their feet the entire weekend. Some of them logged like 20,000 steps. It was crazy. A day. And here is the coin for those of you who this coin was presented to the winners, Death and Mayhem, by Hades as something in case they needed to visit again. All right, so in our hunt, we had 17 rounds, one of which had 3 meta puzzles. Which is, maybe a lot of meta puzzles. We're not going to talk about all of them. We would be here until like Tuesday if we started talking about them. So we're just going to talk about a few of them briefly. So in the Underworld, we tried to pick 3 very easy metas that were solved in different ways. I see a lot of people going, haha, you don't know things are very easy. We tried to keep them approachable, at least. I mean, there are some guidelines to, kind of steer you in the right direction if you're going off track. And we tried to pick metas with different mechanics, so that way beginner teams can be exposed to a different variety of meta mechanics for the next time they do Mystery Hunt, where they'll hopefully get further. All right, I think this round is Joe's.
Thank you, Bella. My team put out a call for rounds with unorthodox structure. And I had this idea, I had already had this idea in my mind of this topology, 7 faces, every face touches every other one, and we'll make a special round where each puzzle has 6 answers, where you have to put each puzzle together with every other puzzle in order to get an answer. As a result of that, we had to have all the puzzles open at the start of the round. You look at them, you see one of them is just a set of blanks. There's no clue as to what goes on the blanks, and it should help clue you in very quickly that it doesn't work by itself. When you finally manage to get all the answers for one puzzle, then something on the round page lights up in a particular color, which lets you know which of the code bands for each in the donut correspond to each puzzle. They all fit on the back side of the donut that we didn't give you, but you had to infer, knowing that it's a 7-colored torus, and having figured out that every puzzle borders every other one. You put them on the torus like this, you figure out what do the letters surrounding each vertex have in common, and it spells out the answer. This is Bear, Claw, and Order. So, handing it back over here to Bella for the next round.
We actually had to entirely reconstruct this meta once because the first answer we picked was very vulnerable to a new traumatic attack. All right, and here is the Hermes round. For those of you who solved parts 1 and 2, you're rewarded with a part 3 of this meta. This was our 3-part meta. And in part 1, we used a kind of novel mechanic where we pulled words out of the feeder puzzles themselves. And in fact, because we were worried about whether or not teams were going to get this, we kind of made the flavor text like push you in the right direction, but we also primed you for this idea with the Isle of Misfit puzzles, where the puzzle explicitly states from each island, you're supposed to pull a number along with a certain number of answers. Additionally, look at this really amazing art. Yeah, I'm pointing out this art because you can buy a poster of it outside. This art was actually done by, I don't know, is she affiliated?
She is actually an MIT student, but unfortunately is stuck in Canada because of the snowstorms. I'll talk more about our artist when we get to creative.
Yeah, she's a super amazing artist. All right, and this is the last, I think the last meta, I hope it's the last meta we're going to talk about. All right, so this one, we made you a little widget where you had to wiggle the stars. They started off in one shape, and Gaia tells you that she doesn't like the way these stars are currently moving and wants them to move in a different direction, like 10 million years in the future or something. You actually got a different constellation, and then you pulled letters out of the feeder puzzles, answers, something like that. Yeah. All right, and now we're going to talk over a couple of the highlight puzzles. All right, Elaine?
Hello. For those of you who had the pleasure of coming, this was the game to be themed later. It is a fully functioning pinball machine that we built for Hunt. For those who didn't hear this part of it when I was doing it, I basically did most of this build entirely in California. I did 5 versions of it, the first of which was included foam core board to do all the ramps and everything like that. And after spending, like 800 hours or so on it in California, I then had to fully disassemble it, ship it through FedEx, and reassemble it in the 5 days before Mystery Hunt. Yeah. While high scores were not part of the puzzle, I did personally track what the high scores was. They're up on here, and Super Team Awesome is the grand champions of the game to be themed later, so kudos to them. But yeah, if you're curious about it or want to look at it afterwards, I'm probably gonna have it on, unpowered over there after wrap up as well, if you guys want to look at it. All right, here you go.
All right, the next puzzle we're going to talk about was this really highlighted our themes of keeping the hunt lighthearted. Do you want to talk about this puzzle? Oh, that's right. Our events coordinator has been doing so much talking at the events that lost his voice, unfortunately. Well, this is a very cute, funny puzzle that I believe all of you saw. Here are some examples of 2 balls from various teams. I think our favorite was, well, these are one of our favorites, one of which, staged a baseball game for us outside. All right. This puzzle almost didn't make it into the hunt. So many things happened with this puzzle. We first needed to actually make the image actually kind of identifiable as the Boston Celtics logo. Because this is actually surprisingly hard to do when you only have, 13 by 20 pixels to work with. The other problem we ran into with this was that it turns out that the Professional Bowlers Association changed one of their oil patterns a couple of weeks before Hunt, which was a little awkward, but hopefully the little slip of paper we handed you all cleared things up and you found the right data set you're supposed to use. The original version of this puzzle that went into test solving had each of the individual squares cut out, so I hope those of you that solved it are grateful we made you strips. I believe the group that test solved this told us that they did in fact reassemble all the paintings, and it took them something like 60 man-hours. promise me you like jigsaw puzzles. Here's one of our puzzles that was a tribute to Jack Lance. We actually opened this puzzle on Sunday evening, I believe, so that way all teams would have a chance to click through this. All right, Adalbert.
All right. A brief précis of what transcendental algebra is. It's a conlang described in 1921 by some guy who I won't mention. And yeah, I wrote this little puzzle about it. As it turns out, transcendental algebra is also the first problem on the first IOL, and I actually wrote this puzzle as a tribute to one of my late mentors, Dragomir Radev. Originally, this puzzle solves to something called, solves to hold bilingual dialogue, which yes, a lot of you sent in good bilingual dialogues. I appreciated it. Originally that was just going to be that, and we would just send you the answer via like an email or something. But midway, one of my friends had an idea. Idea of doing a callback that involved me talking to you en una idioma otra. Now, originally this was just simple languages like German and Chinese and Japanese, but at one point I decided I had to troll somebody with it.
Sure.
Okay.
Answer.
I've written something. Oh, there's more?
So.
Okay, wait. Can you read the first one and then the second one again?
Risho answer.
I think it's the...
Alright, do we have...
Uh-huh.
That's enough of that for now. But the long and short of it is, I talked to Play Noises Galactic Translators more Play Noises. Yes, I know what the actual name is. So I talked to them in a conlang of their own design that they used in their 2019 Mystery Hunt. It's called Paflanta, and you should all check it out. And as it turns out, there is a transcription of the book on transcendental algebra online, and as it turns out, the let's say transcriber of that work happens to also do Mystery Hunt, and I also had the opportunity to talk to happens to also do Mystery Hunt, and I'm also an acquaintance of it. With them, I think. I don't know pronouns. And yeah, since I know they happen to be a big fan of Tokipona, yeah, you can tell what happened there. All right, enough about that puzzle, back to you.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to talk a bit about how one puts together a mystery hunt. First, I'd like to point out that I'm not the only EIC. I'm part of a EIC team. Jess. Engelbert. Craig. Nathan. Here is our timeline for when we did things. So we picked our theme very quickly, actually. We kept things moving along. We finalized our first meta on March 12th. And then by June, we had a really big push to get all of our metas finalized. We had our test solve admin, Ursula, who's going to talk about test solving in a little bit, made this really big push called 10 metas in 10 days, where we were going to graduate 10 metas in 10 days. And it worked. Because our team is so large and so scattered, we actually held writing retreats in 3 locations over this one weekend. And over the rest of the year, we actually, I held smaller Seattle writing retreats at my place, and also at various other team members' places, which we rotated. And then on January 6th, we had our final puzzle graduation, so we had a little bit of runway to before everything, before Mystery Hunt, before you all saw them. Here's our puzzle writing timeline. I think we screwed up the math somewhere. But let's see, I think we can note, let's see, I think we started releasing answers in June, so we have a bunch of puzzles start entering, writing here, and we had a big test solving push.
What are the colors?
Oh, sorry, you can't read the tiny. Okay, blue is writing. This is either writing answer assigned or writing answer not yet assigned, I think. And then orange is test solving, green is past test solving, and red is past post prodding. We could see we were really slow about handling hint approvals, and hint approvals was the last step before post prodding. Jess actually ran the hints approval process and got everybody coordinated to write hints. So most of the hints that you received were edited by Jess. All right, I'm going to give you a brief overview on fact-checking. Fact-checking was run by Brian. This was actually a step we did before any test solving happened. They read through all puzzles and solutions, and they did 2 very important things. First, that they made sure the solution document was complete for the test solve admins, so if a puzzle group got stuck, the test solve admin could easily look at the solution and be like, okay, they're stuck here. Or they could nudge them, or they could be like, okay, EICs, this test solve session has gone totally off the rails, you need to do something. And the other very important thing they did was that they saved so many test solve sessions because there were lots of common errors like grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes, and there were also lots of puzzle breaking problems, like ambiguities that they caught.
Thank you.
As many of you are aware, we had a little bit of a tech hiccup which caused us to release one of the rounds in Google Docs. So this meant that our fact-checking team had to fact-check everything on the Google Docs version, which we weren't paying that close attention to anymore. They fact-checked everything in that round in an hour, which is super impressive, and they were super organized. All right, Ursula, would you like to talk about test solving?
I'll be very brief. I just wanted to call out that if you all felt like you were in hell throughout this weekend, we, in test solving, this whole team, they got the version of the puzzle that was not ready yet. So I want to say it's an estimate of about maybe 1,300 instances that came out if you include the full hunt fact check, right? So there's a lot of work that went into testing all these puzzles. We had as much fun as I hope you had through the hunt. And thanks so much for the entirety of the team, because this was Herculean effort.
All right, Sarah, would you like to talk about the art?
I might need some help with slides, yeah. Hi, I'm Sarah. I was head of creative, which was not just art, but also story, interactions, and sound. So I'm going to be here for a little bit, and thank you all. I had a few people stop me in the halls to thank us for any of those things, and that couldn't have been done without some people, some of whom are here that I'll call out right now. But first, there is one person who's already left because they had to make a flight. I do want to make a shout out for Preston. He was our Hermes in the opening, and he was our Hermes and a few other characters throughout. So if you remember that voice, I believe he also had curly hair. He was a trooper. Oh my goodness. I deputized him on Thursday night because I was getting overwhelmed. All of those additional interactions that you may have gotten on Sunday beyond just gods coming in to harass you, but specific, like we're going to move you forward, like the games that we were playing. That was Preston, and that was one other person who's already been called out. I'm going to call out John again. And I'm going to call out a third person who's been called out before, who has lost their voice, MJ. But I will also call out, in general, some of these people are ready to go home, but we had over 20 people as gods, goddesses, and other minor deities doing over 250 interactions this weekend. I think that that's a hunt record. We hit every single team on campus that was not in a dorm at least once for at least 10 minutes of interaction time. Some teams got up to 5 or 6. Unfortunately, for those of you in dorms, we couldn't get inside. So we do apologize. We're gods, but we're not omnipresent. Sorry. For that, let's move on to art. So let's go forward. So I'm going to talk very briefly about some of our artists. A few of them were people from our team, and a few of them were people that we asked from outside for additional assistance. There was a lot of art in Hunt. And as you may have noticed, they put me in charge of art. So when people got briefs, they got them, for the most part, in writing. There was a lot of writing in Hunt, as you saw. A lot of that was me, but some of that was also, again, John. And also, since we use code names, I want to make sure I'm getting your actual name right. Nick? Was that Nick? Yeah. Okay. But art, they got briefs. So we gave descriptions to people, and then once they got that description, they were allowed to do whatever they wanted as long as they met certain criteria. Everything in the underworld except for Hera and Hercules was one person, and that one person also made our pinball machine. Huge shout out to Elaine. So plenty of examples of the underworld map, and all 3 of the underworld rounds, aside from the 2 I just mentioned, all Elaine's art. Fantastic work. Let's keep moving. So next is Las Vegas, and I wanted to call this out. For those of you who solve the meta, I'm going to spoil it here. It's about Loteria, which is a Mexican game, and we wanted to make sure that we were culturally sensitive as someone who is blind. I wanted to make sure, when we talked about accessibility earlier, that we were respectful of people's cultures, respectful of people's abilities. Not every puzzle can be solved by every person, but I wanted every person to be able to solve a puzzle. That also meant that I wanted the art to be as respectful as possible. So where possible, we hired out. And here, we actually hired people from the, God, I do not speak Spanish. But I have their contact information, but they were a Mexican Institute of Animation who handmade all 16 of those individual objects that were added to that scene. They're all paper mache done in the traditional style. So their information should be up there. I trust that it's up there. I can't read it, so I do have a spreadsheet if any of you want to contact these artists or commission them for anything, because their work was fantastic. Let's move on. What is next? Oh, me. So I am not a visual artist. I make cosplay. I can sew. I can't really draw, but due to various constraints, I stepped in and I actually did a lot of the incidental art, including the animation. I did not know how to use Fresco until about a month ago. So I did Hell. I did the Everglades, and if you want to click through, more sticks, more sticks. And then when you finished it, all the snakes were gone, the virus was gone, and you were left with one very large cup of coffee. All the shades were me and all the little background stuff. Basically any incidental art that needed to be done fast. I did my best, and I apologize if it wasn't recognizable. So let's move on. Next, we have some friends and acquaintances of mine. One of my friends from France did all of Mississippi River. Keep moving. Just keep moving. Yeah. This Connie, who I mentioned earlier, is our artist from here, from MIT. Unfortunately, she's stuck due to snow in Ontario, so she couldn't be here today. She wanted to come here and actually sign those posters for you. She did 4 of our rounds. She did Persephone, Newport. She did she did Hermes, which is Nashville. She did Texas, the Minotaur, and last but not least, she did Gemini, yes, which was the first overworld round that unlocked. All 4 of those were hers. Another one of our artists right here who unfortunately couldn't make it, they're in Florida, but they're a member of TTBNL who also made some really cool puzzles. I made a puzzle with them together. They did Sedona. And that's Rigel. Frankie. Keep moving. New York is another friend of mine from Canada, and they did all of New York, which slowly revealed itself as you solved the puzzles. These are all either gods or fabled characters from civilizations around the world. And again, we wanted to make sure that we were respectful. Bella, you were on. I'm going to let Bella explain this one.
Oh goodness, this was a while ago. But basically, one of our the way this puzzle worked was that it was about calendars from around the world. One of the cultures we used was Igbo. In Igbo land right now, Christianity is pretty big, but once upon a time, the Igbo had their own pantheon, and in order for Christianity to gain a foothold in Igbo land, they demonized Ekwensu, who is this guy right here. And until not so long ago, Ekwensu was kind of considered so evil he cannot be depicted. But recently, scholars and the news have been trying to push to educate the Igbo that Ekwensu is not the incarnation of the devil, but is rather more of a trickster god, more like Eris than like Satan.
And for that, we went and actually contacted scholars who are modern practitioners of Igbo to make sure that our depiction was fair and respectful, as well as to all the other cultures that we have here. So if anyone is Igbo who's watching online, one, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your religion, and 2, I hope that we've treated it with the respect it deserves. This is actually a friend of someone who couldn't make it. Blake, who's on our team, is in med school and in his final weeks, so he couldn't be here. And this is one of his friends, who is a daughter of an MIT alum, who did Oahu, Hawaii. And finally, one of my friends who is a children's book author in the UK did Olympic Park. All right, before I get to the t-shirt, there seems to be some art that we didn't cover, and that's all the physical objects. Bella, would you do the honors? This was laser cut, and if Death and Mayhem would like to get this. I'll have these outside afterwards if you'd like to take a look. All right, merch. Buy some merch. The pin and the shirt were made by the same artist. They were supposed to do one of our rounds and then unfortunately got very ill. So we were able to contact them later. Their name is K-Cow. They did all of this awesome stuff. And I unfortunately was so busy with getting other stuff done that I did not handle the mid-hunt sticker. So I'm gonna ask the person who did to step forward.
Thanks, everybody. Sorry this is turning into the John Brommel's show. The Mid-Hunt Runaround Prize sticker was something that we weren't sure we were going to be able to afford until the last minute, but we eventually did find room in the budget. We felt it was very important to give as many teams as possible something that they could take away with them, even if it was not a coin. However, that meant that we had something like a 48-hour deadline to get this printed. I called up a wonderful artist who's based in the UK, Alex, also known as Woo Woo and the Wormling, and they were able to, from getting the brief to getting us a sketch was, I think, 14 hours. And from getting us the sketch to getting us this final product was something like 10 hours. So it was a 24-hour turnaround, which allowed us to get the stickers to the printer in the nick of time to get them into your hands. So we are really grateful. Thank you.
I don't know how he did it. I genuinely do not. All right, events. I'm going to pass that off to Jess. Considering that, unfortunately, our Dionysus lost his voice in a bet to Hera.
Alrighty. I guess. Alright. So the first event we had was Friday night, the nightclub, where we invited teams to come to Kresge for a fun-filled evening at a nightclub. Except we got stopped at the door by a bouncer who told us that we were not allowed to enter that night's Ambrosia event. However, you all met an extremely trustworthy and totally above grade guide who promised to find a legitimate way to sneak in. And he gave you guys a nightclub entry card and guided you through 3 stations. At the first station, I believe that is this one, you made VIP wristbands, which when you decoded had the passphrase for yesterday's entry. Dun dun dun. And I don't think we have a photo of the next phase, which was trying to sneak in through the speakeasy dance hall part. I'm sure some of you here remember doing that, where you did essentially you basically played a game of Just Dance using DDR arrows. And finally, they were led to the Kresge Theater, where they had whimsical instruments like cat keyboards, dog guitars, and ukuleles to play and join the house band. At the conclusion of which, they earned a cup of ambrosia, which tasted like whatever you want as long as it's one of 6 flavors of Harmony Springs soda. Thank you. And thank you once again to the team member who made it possible for us to procure the soda. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh. Yes, you have it. Meow, 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 meow. All right. Event number 2, that was the Puzzle Olympics, in which we divided players into teams of 4 for a physical and mental challenge where they crawled, skipped, and power walked to the finish line. And in between, tackled group challenges, like sorting themselves based on numbers like you see there. And that one was passing an image by drawing on each other's backs. They also went through a cheer practice that taught them the mechanism to extract the answer to the final round, learning that the winning team received a cat as trophy. All right, Saturday afternoon, the resident witch/scientist, Circe, or Kirky if you pronounce it the Greek way, had a potions event in which teams had a representative sent to conduct a magical science experiment, identifying 8 buffer potions by concocting natural pH tests using ingredients like blueberries, hibiscus tea, and rutabagas. And after learning the potion's identity, puzzlers were provided with the potion's name to find out an ingredient that would help her in her science. And finally, Nero says, which, let's go in code.
The group strike the most dramatic pose you can. Oh, Nero says this. This is his favorite group. You have amused me. Nero says, show everyone. Show Nero his favorite pose. Sorry. Nero's seeing some creative liberties, but Nero says you can stop posing.
And this final event was a game of Simon Says designed to be practically impossible to finish. Luckily and unluckily, the game operated on a time loop, so participants were able to learn how to do an arabesque or force a tie in a game of rock, paper, scissors. At the same time, participants who were eliminated could listen carefully to complete the worksheet of the Fallen, which had the solution to ending the loop. And may I get a big round of applause for our events coordinator, who is also Dionysus, Michael J. Anderson.
Okay, so we learned that a lot of you don't like Wordle. We're just gonna go through a few particularly funny submissions. You can read them for yourselves. Good idea, thanks. Okay, so the first one is Team Palindrome submitted Play a Mean Spitball for puzzle game to be themed later. Hint request for Happy Tunes. Writing out these letters next to the corresponding stick figures spells a phrase known as of the wild fig. We've clearly gone slightly wrong here. Yes. For those of you who do not solve this puzzle, notice of the wild fig is the correct answer. It turns out that this is a holiday celebrating slave women in ancient Roman times. Oh, we must have... Here's the header slide for all the creative submissions you just saw. Here we see 2 dogs with a little plushie in between.
3 dogs.
We see, I'm not really sure what this is, but this is a very impressive build of Rome in one day. All right, and here we are going to go through the statistics of how this hunt went. All right, first, we wrote a lot of puzzles. Oh yeah, this isn't counting the hydro rounds. Okay, so we wrote 237 puzzles across 17 rounds. We got 76 unique authors, many of whom are first-time authors. This actually also includes me. Hi guys. We had 1,126 test-solve sessions that happened through Discord, but also a ton more that happened in our full hunt test-solve group, and a couple more that just happened as, like, oh yeah, let me hand this puzzle to my friend. Let me see what I do with it. All right, here's our hint timeline on the left. You can see that there are definitely times when, people ask for more hints than others, but this is a truly phenomenal number of hints. Note the scale on the left goes 50, 100, 150. And the graph on the right, I believe, is server requests or something like that. I would like to call out our tech team for doing a truly phenomenal job recovering. Being able to come back from such a difficult position was truly a huge endeavor, and I am so impressed by the work they do.
Thank you, teammate, for your help in starting the server.
All right, here are some firsts. The very first answer that was submitted was by Most Intelligent Tigers. The first puzzle solve was on corporate change by Ethereal cancellations of our picture game. The first meta solve was Cerberus by Amateur Hour. The first Underworld breakout was by Unicode Equivalents. The fastest badge solve, and I'm pretty certain the fastest puzzle solve in our entire hunt, was by Occam's depilatory gel. The first Hera meta solve was by Amateur Hour. A group of, I believe, actually mostly amateurs, right, Sarah? You know these guys? Amateur Hour?
So, one of my friends, when she found out I was doing art, was like, can I come to Mystery Hunt? I have no idea what it is, but I want to check it out.
So thank you, Mike. A friend of mine from cosplay was like, I have no idea what Mystery Hunt is. I like puzzles. Can I come? This was a week before Hunt. She knew I was doing art for something. That was the extent of the information because I tried to keep this under extremely tight wraps. Figuring out what all you guys thought our theme was going to be was pretty funny. Anyway, so we put her with a team of a lot of MIT people. It was a pretty small team called Amateur Hour. They did amazing. I think they were in the top 20, and they were a lot of MIT undergrads, as I understand it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They were our first Hera solve. They made it all the way. Did they make it all the way to New York? They made it into New York on their own, and with very few hints. By the way, New York was 10 of 13 overworld, just to put that in perspective.
All right, and here is the actual leaderboard. I'd like to point out the 10-minute difference between Death and Mayhem and Providence. I'm sure we had many very awkward conversations where we were like, okay, we're going to try to do like these things at the same exact time. And I'm sure the captains were like, why are they bothering to do these things at the same exact second? And now hopefully you understand. I think this is from A to Zany's section.
Hi, it's me again. How are ya? So, first and foremost, what I am here to do is to say thank you. And thank you. We know it's not easy. It is not easy to take time off work, to plan a 4-day group weekend with potentially dozens of your friends who probably live in different cities around the country or even around the globe, and incur travel costs to come to Boston, maybe even in a snowstorm, not get enough sleep, all for an event about which you have almost no details going into it. But because you did, because 15% more of you did than last year, this hunt could happen, and it could not happen without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Give yourselves a hand, please. Also, and this is not my planned bit, as much as Bella singled me out for praise, I need to return the favor. I truly believe that for every hour I spent on this hunt, Bella spent 200. And Bella was the glue that held this hunt together, and the fact that you didn't get an email on Thursday saying hunt is canceled because we couldn't get our act together is solely due to her. Thank you, Bella. And thank you to everyone, all of you, these wonderful people who I met less than a year ago, because it is not about one single person or even two single people. It is about an entire team, an entire group. And it is also about money. Because it doesn't just take dedication, heart, lack of sleep, talent, and brains to do a mystery hunt. It also takes $50,000. And so that is why I'm here also to say thank you to the generous sponsors who made this hunt possible. The best funded hunt in mystery hunt history, yes. First and foremost, we have to thank the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Our generous hosts, our namesake organization, without the support of this world-famous institution, and especially these individuals and groups at that organization, the hunt would literally cease to exist, and there would be no way to reassemble it in 72 hours. So thank you MIT, thank you everyone at MIT who is supportive of this annual effort. Sorry, I'm reading and doing my own stunts and everything. Okay. We also want to thank this year's contributing sponsor, Otherworldly Adventures. To learn more about them, visit otherworldlyfun.com. That's otherworldlyfun.com. You see nothing. Uh-oh, I think this slide deck didn't update, so I'm going to have to, but for the second year in a row, our signature sponsor is 2 Sigma at the signature sponsor level. Visit them online, Curiosity. It's the foundation of financial services, financial sciences. Man, I am screwing this up terribly. 2 Sigma, I am so sorry if you're watching. I'm gonna start over. Look. And now our signature sponsor, 2 Sigma. Curiosity. It's the foundation of financial sciences and the basis of everything we do at 2 Sigma. Visit them online, and this is the part that should be up there but isn't, so I'm just going to have to say it twice. Visit them online at 2sigma.com. Again, that is 2TWO Sigma.com. And we had 3 featured sponsors this year at the $10,000 level. First off, HRT, Hudson River Trading, returning for its 3rd consecutive year as a featured sponsor of Mystery Hunt. Here's how HRT describes itself. Hudson River Trading brings a scientific approach to trading financial products. We've built one of the world's most sophisticated computing environments for research and development. Our researchers are at the forefront of innovation in the world of algorithmic trading. At HRT, we welcome a variety of expertise: mathematics and computer science, physics and engineering, media and tech. We're a community of self-starters who are motivated by the excitement of being at the cutting edge of automation in every part of our organization, from trading to business operations to recruiting and beyond. We value openness and transparency and celebrate great ideas from HRT veterans and new hires alike. At HRT, we're friends and colleagues, whether we are sharing a meal, playing the latest board game, or writing elegant code. We embrace a culture of togetherness that extends far beyond the walls of our office. You can learn more about HRT at hudsonrivertrading.com. Again, that is hudsonrivertrading.com. Please, a round of applause for HRT. And thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Next up, in its impressive 5th consecutive year of funding the Mystery Hunt, Jane Street. Jane Street is a quantitative trading firm with offices worldwide. Jane Street aims to hire smart, humble people who love to solve problems, build systems, and test theories. Do you know anybody like that? You'll learn something new every day at Jane Street, whether it's connecting with a colleague to share perspectives or participating in a talk, class, or game night. Jane Street's success is driven by their people, and they never stop improving. Visit them online at janestreet.com. Again, that is janestreet.com. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. And I also want to thank Jane Street for jumping in. I mean, I had been apparently sending the emails pitching this sponsorship to the wrong email address. When I got the right email address, they literally jumped on board within a couple of hours approving the sponsorship. So we are so grateful to Jane Street for their support. And last but certainly not least, a new sponsor for 2024, Who Killed Icky Treasure Hunt, Inc., Incorporated. Who Killed Icky Treasure Hunt, Incorporated is the sponsor of the eponymous Who Killed Icky online puzzle hunt, which is starting 12 days from now on January 27th, with 11 cash prizes totaling $50,000. If you are thinking right now that you never, ever want to see a puzzle ever again, you should know that every puzzle in the Who Killed Icky $50,000 puzzle hunt is designed to be much, much, much easier than even the easiest mystery hunt puzzle. The hunt is based on a new fair play murder mystery novel about the fictional 1977 death of San Francisco's poet laureate. So give your brain a 2-week rest and join us on Saturday, January 27th for an easy, quick competition that only requires the book to play and which will definitely not last until 6 a.m. Visit ickytreasurehunt.com for details. Again, that is ickytreasurehunt.com. Plus, please visit the sponsors page of our website. All of these sponsors' logos are available there, and you can click on them instead of having to type things into your browser to learn more about all of our generous sponsors. But wait, I know that you are smart people. You did the math, and you're saying, wait a minute. 3 times 10,000 plus 3,000 plus 1,000 does not add up to $50,000. You said this hunt cost $50,000. What gives? Well, it's not what gives. It's who gives. And that is individual donors like you who give. I want to make sure you all know this. Collectively, taken collectively, individual small dollar and donations from puzzle enthusiasts like you represent the single largest funding source for our hunt. We are so grateful to all of you who have made single donations or recurring gifts to Puzzle Club. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And if you are wondering, how can I get a round of applause? If you want to join in supporting this amazing all-volunteer event, Adelbert is going to let you know how. But before he does, I just need to say that one of the greatest things about handling fundraising for this hunt was getting to meet and work with Rachel aka Rye, the Puzzle Club treasurer. She is so dedicated, so hardworking, and so amazing at navigating the Byzantine system that is MIT finance. She easily did more work than I did, but she prefers to stay behind the scenes. However, I can at least give her the round of applause she so definitely deserves. Thank you, Rachel, wherever you are. I don't know if you're here, but if you are, thank you so much. And that's all I have to say. So let's bring Adelbert up, our Puzzle Club representative of TTBNL. Thank you.
Hello. God, dude. I'm Wesley, though someone has just chosen to expose my nickname on the internet. And I know I said during kickoff that I could spend an hour listing off all the individual people and organizations that make this possible, but it seems like John's done that job for me. Anyway, Puzzle Club is Puzzle Club, or formal name, Mystery Hunt Puzzle Club, is the organization that handles logistics for the MIT Mystery Hunt. And let me tell you, not an easy job. I swear I'm just dying of exhaustion right now. No, I'm being serious. Serious. Y'all nearly didn't have a science event because we forgot to check something with CAC. It's mind-numbing. Anyway. Wait, to ease the burden a little bit, here's how you personally can help. If you're a student, join Puzzle Club. Join Puzzle Club. Come to Puzzle Club. And we're despite our main job being to run logistics for MIT Mystery Hunt, we also host some events throughout the year. So things like group solves of a puzzle magazine, PNA. I know last March we held a Sudoku Open, and I know this year we're planning to host one. Last April we held a Logic Puzzle Open, and I'm not sure what plans are for that. But I assure you those are in motion. No, but seriously, please join. Please join. Our leadership kind of turned over last year, so I've had to learn basically everything about the logistics system from scratch. It was not easy, and yeah, I kind of don't want to go through that again. So, also we also, not many people have been coming to the events, so we don't really have a pool of people to draw from. No, but seriously, please do. If you're a non-student, you can student or alumnus. You can student, alumnus, or a non-student. You can donate. Donate. Donations are generally through giving.mit.edu. And make your donations givable to Mystery Hunt / Puzzle Club with account number. It's right up there. There. And whew. And with that I thank you all. Yeah, once again, thank you all for coming to And once again, I'd like to thank you all for coming to the 2024 MIT Mystery Hunt. This concludes that event. Thank you for coming.
Hi, me again. We forgot one thing. I mean, I know you think I thanked everyone under the sun, and I kind of did. But there's one group we need to, of course, congratulate.
What am I doing? Oh, okay. Death Mayhem, please come up to the stage. We totally practiced.
Congratulations, Death and Mayhem. I think the only thing I have to say is, what are you waiting for? You're already behind. Thank you all so much again for coming and for spending the weekend with us puzzling. I am really looking forward to what Death and Mayhem brings next year. Hopefully it will not be their eponymous death, but I'm pretty sure there will be mayhem.
Okay, there are physical puzzle pickups at the front, and there is merch at the back. We have t-shirts for $20, pins for $5, and posters for $5. This is a cash-only thing, but I think we have some sort of thing to handle that.
So, because this is an MIT student event, this is, of course, cash only at the merch table. However, there will likely be a gentleman wearing a, funny-looking mustache sitting nearby the merch table, but who is not affiliated with the merch table and is not affiliated with Puzzle Club. And if you have Venmo, that gentleman would probably like to make acquaintances with you. So... However, again, our merch table, Puzzle Club's merch table, takes cash only. So please do not attempt to pay by any other means at the merch table. Thank you.